talk now to TRT World's health correspondent, Nicola Hill, who joins us live from London. Good to see you, Nicola. Tell us why, when vaccinations are supposed to be effective against COVID-19, is the government also focusing on alternate treatments? Is there no end in sight, Nicola?
Well, I don't know if I can actually answer that question, Maria, but basically what they want is a two-pronged approach. So we've been hearing lots about the vaccinations and the fantastic difference that they've made. Certainly here in the UK, we've got this mass vaccination drive that's been very effective, and we've also had a very tough lockdown for a long time as well that's really reduced the numbers of people who have been infected with COVID-19 and who've gone to hospital and who've unfortunately died. The numbers are dramatically down. But of course, the vaccines don't necessarily stop people from getting COVID-19. We know that some of them are, you've got these different percentages depending on which vaccine you get. So it can vary between 65 and 95%. So they're not all, none of them are 100% effective. Then we've got these new variants coming on board. So are they going to work against those? So this is why Boris Johnson at this press conference announced the setting up of this task force, trying to find successful antiretrovirals that people can just take at home in a tablet form, either when they've been tested positive for COVID-19 or if somebody else in the house has tested positive, that you can ideally take it as a prophylactic, like you might take something against getting malaria, for example. Now, the other thing to take on board is that, a lot of people get COVID-19, they get a mild dose, but then they end up having long COVID that goes on for a long time. A friend of mine, he had it quite mildly over Christmas, but he has heart problems now. So that's why they want to prevent people from being severely impacted by COVID-19 when they initially get this positive test, not waiting for a week or so for them to go downhill and end up needing to go into hospital.
And what sort of time frame are we looking at? When will these be available to people?
Well, the idea from Boris Johnson is that we will have these tablets ready by autumn. Now, a lot of research is underway into this, the repurposing of existing antiretrovirals, the ones that you listed there, for example. But I spoke to Dr. Simon Clark, who's a microbiologist from Reading University and an expert in this field. I rang him this morning and I said to him, how likely is this? And he laughed at me. And he said, Nicola, you can quote that I'm laughing because, that is completely unrealistic. Now, he said to me, look at the antiretrovirals that they had against HIV, for example. The initial ones were very toxic. It took a long time to find ones that were really successful. And this is the thing. He said lots of tablets or medications that have been trialled to work against viruses have not been particularly successful. There's one against flu that's made by Roche, and all it does is just cut the length of the flu by a couple of days, and which is great, but it's not the same as coronavirus. So there's obviously the work is underway. Obviously, Boris Johnson is hoping that this task force can be as successful as our vaccine task force can be. And if you remember, Maria, we were talking last year about, having a vaccine, and the thoughts last year was that there wouldn't be one by the end of the year. And we had so many. It's incredible. We're sport for choice to a certain extent. So obviously, we want to be optimistic. We want to hope that these tablets will come on board eventually. But it seems the scientists aren't quite as optimistic as the Prime Minister here in the UK.
Nicola, great to speak to you. Nicola Hill, our health correspondent in London. Appreciate it.